Imagine this, a 4-month trip around the world. But it's not a vacation. It's the launch sequence for a brand new kind of global economy. We're going to follow Sarrah Lee on her Odyssey, a mission to engineer a system from the ground up, one designed to tackle some of our biggest problems. And it all kicks off with a very specific plan.
So this is not your average travel itinerary, that's for sure. Starting in February 2026, every single stop on Sarrah's #2026 Peace Train World Tour is a strategic piece of a much, much bigger puzzle. You've got team prep in Portugal, then it's off to Canada to lay a critical foundation, then back to Portugal for community building, and finally on to Israel. Each location is like a deliberately chosen domino, set up to kick off a massive global rollout.
Okay, so we've got the where of this journey, but to really get what's going on, we have to dig into the why. This is about way more than just collecting passport stamps. It's about methodically putting a blueprint into action, a blueprint designed to fix a system that, let's be honest, feels broken for a lot of people. And boom, here it is, the why, spelled out plain and simple. The entire mission, the whole journey, all the tech, it all boils down to this one powerful idea: using real, tangible assets to guarantee that people have enough to eat. It's the anchor point for everything else we're about to talk about.
You know, the thinking behind this is a fascinating mix of two really powerful philosophies. On one hand, you've got the wisdom of Warren Buffett, who's all about owning productive assets, like farmland, things that create real value. And then you mash that up with the Elon Musk mindset of using first principles, basically tearing down old, broken systems and rebuilding them from scratch to be way more efficient and ready for the future.
And this just shows you the result of that mashup. It completely flips our idea of spending on its head. In the economy we live in now, when you buy something, that money is basically gone. It's an expense. But in the GENII ecosystem, that same act of buying something becomes an investment. Your money is automatically converted into real appreciating assets, like land, that the whole community owns. You're not just a spender anymore. You're a builder.
Okay, so let's see how this huge vision actually starts to become a physical reality. We're jumping back to Sarrah's journey. After getting everything ready in Portugal, the team heads to Canada. And that's where the very first piece of this new world gets put into place.
So, the Canada trip, this is where the rubber meets the road. The main goal is to buy the very first piece of productive land for the system's real estate investment trust, or REIT. That's basically just a company that owns properties that make money. This isn't just a real estate deal, it's laying the first physical stone in a global foundation of real asset-backed security.
And this isn't some vague plan. Here's the playbook for Phase 1. It's a clear, step-by-step process. First, get the seed funding. Second, buy that first piece of land. Third, lock in the details of the product that's going to fuel this whole system. And fourth, kick off pilot programs to get the community involved and prove that the model works. Every step is designed to make sure this thing is solid before they scale it up.
So, we've got the big vision, and we've got the first steps. But how does this whole consumer-to-asset engine actually work? I mean, how does this simple purchase you make actually help build a global portfolio of property?
Yeah, that really is the big question, isn't it? It sounds almost impossible that an everyday item, a snack bar, could be the key to building real, tangible wealth for an entire community. It sounds a little like magic, but the answer is actually in some really, really clever design.
Okay, so meet the star of the show, the BarNess Miracle Bar. This little thing is the fuel for the whole flywheel. It's a simple, nutritious, 400 kilocalorie snack bar. But check out that last line. Its core mission is literally built into its production. Half of every single bar made goes directly to feeding the hungry. That means the more successful the bar is, the more people get fed. It's that simple. It's hardwired for impact.
But here's where the magic really happens. Let's follow the money. For every single bar that's sold, 80% of the money covers running the business and that social mission we just talked about. But the other 20%, that's automatically swept into an AI-managed wealth fund that has only one job: buying more productive assets. Let's walk through it. So you buy a Miracle Bar. Instantly, 20% of that money is zapped into the fund. That fund then allows the REIT to go out and buy a piece of productive land. But it doesn't just stop there. That land is then actively improved using permaculture, which is just a super sustainable way to do agriculture, and that increases its real, actual value over time. It's a complete, self-reinforcing loop where your consumption is literally growing the future.
Now, when you build an engine this powerful, you have to make sure someone's steering,
and more importantly, that it has a conscience. This brings us to the advanced tech and the ethical rules of the road that make sure this system is always used for good.
The brain of this whole operation is an AI called GENII. The best way to think about it is like the central nervous system. It uses predictive algorithms to optimize everything, from supply chains to buying assets, making sure the whole ecosystem runs as efficiently as possible with almost no waste.
But listen, you can't just let an AI this powerful run wild. It's governed by something called the KIPA safety protocol. It's a super strict ethical framework with two simple, non-negotiable rules. Rule number 1, do no harm. That's the ultimate stop sign for any action. And rule number 2, do good. Every single decision has to actively add value to the community or its assets. It's a digital conscience built right in.
And there's one last safety layer, which is honestly my favorite part. It's called the Aikido protocol, and it's basically hard-coded humility for an AI. How cool is that? If the AI ever runs into a situation where it's not sure what the outcome will be, it is required to stop, full stop, and ask a human for guidance. This makes sure that the technology always serves what humans want, not the other way around.
All right, so we've got the journey, we've got the economic engine, and we've got the ethical guardrails. Let's pull the camera back one last time. If all of this actually works, what does the final destination even look like? Where is this train ultimately headed?
The end game is called the orchard phase. It's this vision of a self-sustaining global habitat, a world where the entire community is supported by this massive foundation of real, appreciating assets that were built one snack bar, one nutritional choice at a time. Prosperity and security just keep feeding themselves. So what's the potential scale we're talking about here? Well, the number they're projecting is $100 billion. At that level of investment, this ecosystem could transform from a pilot program into a dominant global force for what they call guilt-free progress. And that number isn't a cost. It's a measure of the potential to completely redefine what security and progress even mean for the whole planet.
And you know, this whole thing, this huge, complex system we've just walked through, from Sarrah's world tour to the AI protocols, it all comes back to a really simple personal choice. It suggests that the small decisions we make every day have the power to build a better world. So the final question is pretty simple. If you knew your everyday consumption could build permanent security for everyone, what would you choose?